Why I got a divorce, my divorce story. A lot of people are sending me videos they want me to review of couples who are getting divorced. If you didn't see the video I did yesterday on the minimal mom, her and her husband Tom got a divorce after 16 years. I did a live on that. I'm going to finish that video because I think there's just so much good content in it for young women who are choosing their husbands. And so today we're going to be talking about Lauren's story. I'll link her channel below. Someone sent me this and asked me to do this video. She was like, Cousin Janice, this is what you mean about not getting married too young. I am against getting married too young. 18, 19, 20, you should not be getting married. Yes, I know your grandfather got married at 15, 80 years ago. But 80 years ago and today, these men are different men. I am also, ladies, against you getting married to men your age when you're in your 20s and early 30s. What do I mean by that? If you and your boyfriend, we don't do boyfriends over here, the guy you're dating is 27, your age is 27, but he's really 20, which means he has not become a man yet. So I am against that. I think women, we need to be more mindful. And I don't think we should be pushing men to marry us, not because you were boyfriends and girlfriends in high school, mean you should get married. I believe both men and women should grow up and mature and become and spend some time by yourself alone before you get married. Hey cousins, that's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome back to all of my wonderful cousins. Shout out and welcome to the new cousins. Thank you for those of you who are new over here. If you're new, my name is Janice, cousin Auntie Janice. Be sure to subscribe, thumbs up, share this out for me. Leave a comment, and thank you for the cousin that said, press the bell, okay? Press the bell. A lot of you are not getting notification. Go check your subscription to make sure the bell is turned on, okay? I absolutely love you. Thank you. And again, a lot of these women are women in, that's what I forgot to put. I forgot to add the naked wife to the book cover. A lot of wives are naked wives, okay? There we go. I added the naked wife to the thumbnail. What is a naked wife? A naked wife is a wife where her husband is not providing for her, protecting her, professing to her, and taking care of her and all of her needs. And a lot of women, especially Christian women, are the naked wife. And so we're going to listen to this story today. Shout out to the cousin that sent this to me. I will link her video. We're not going to watch all the video. I will link it below, and you can go and watch the entirety of her video. Okay. Well, let's see here. We haven't.
Hi, my name is Lauren Juarez. For those of you who don't know me, I was married at 18 years old and divorced at 21. Just this past.
Okay, let's stop right there. Married at 18, divorced at 21. Why? Why? This is why you should not get married young. Too young. 18, no, you should not be getting married. Again, your grandfather got married 80 years ago at 18, and he worked out for them. You just don't know what your grandmother put up with. You should not be getting married at 18. And you know, in the church, some churches teach and believe that once you divorce, you should stay single. So this poor woman got married at 18, divorced at 21. She should stay single by herself forever? Absolutely not. Again, do not get married, cousins. Ladies that's dating for marriage, do not get married at 18. You do not need to marry your college sweetheart, you're a high school sweetheart at 18. You don't know who you are. He has not grown up mature, and he has not become. And this is what happened, driving up the divorce rate by getting married at 18, and you have to get a divorce at 21.
Last August. I've recently started opening up and sharing a bit on my Instagram and TikTok about my journey this far. And a highly requested video obviously has been why I've gotten divorced, and I haven't felt ready to talk about this until now I feel ready to share this and to help other people that may be going through it as well. Before we get into
Thank you for sharing your story. And for those of you who ask, why do I review these stories, is because we want to help other people. Okay. I want to help as many young men, young women that I possibly can help, to help them not choose the wrong mate, not help you not make a mess of your life, get married, then you have to get a divorce. Also, please note that I am not judging the people that I talk about getting a divorce. Even though you might think I'm judging them. I'm even though there's nothing wrong with judging, okay? But that's not what I'm doing. I am pointing out things to help other young men and other young women realize why you should not get married, and why men are not ready to get married at 18, why you're not ready to get married at 18 and 19, and why you should not get married young at 18 and 19. 2025. Again, your grandfather got married at 18 when 80 years ago. Matter of fact, 100 years ago. It's not the same. Okay?
There's a couple things I need to say. Number one is I do need to just let you guys know of some trigger warnings before talking about this stuff. I just want you guys to feel.
So she has a few trigger warnings: emotional abuse, topics around corn, marital grape, eating disorder. We're not going to get to all of those, right? These are all things that can possibly happen when you, one, choose the wrong husband, ladies, choose the wrong husband, and you get married too young. Because when you get married too young, a young man and young woman, they are not able
comfortable and safe.
They have not developed their emotional maturity yet. Okay? They may be watching corn, starts with a P, and they just need time to work that out. You don't need to be getting married to no man that's addicted to corn. You do not need to marry a man who doesn't love you enough that he is marital grape in you. Because if he loved you like Christ loved the church, he would never marital grape you. He will never coerce you to do something you do not want to do. And then the result of that can be how it affects you. You could have all kinds of health challenges and health issues. This is why I warn against getting married too young.
Watching all of this, and if anything comes up that starts to trigger you, please feel free to skip past. Number two is my intention for making this video is purely to help others that have been in a similar situation and are feeling very alone and feel like there's nobody out there who's talking about this. So I just want to make that super clear that this is not for revenge or to try to exploit or expose my ex-husband or any of that. I'm trying to help, and I feel like nobody talks about this. And I really feel led and encouraged to continue to speak out about this because it's wrong. This continues to happen because people don't speak up. And number three is it's been almost 7
years to happen. This, as in getting married too young, when you guys have not matured. First of all, anybody under 25 should not be getting married because the brain is not fully developed. So if your brain is not fully developed before 25, why are we making lifetime decisions when the brain is not fully developed?
7 months since we separated in May. I have taken a lot of time to process and start to heal from the situation. So if it sounds or comes across like I'm speaking about this very easily and comfortably, I've had to tell my story to people in my life several times. So I'm kind of used to talking about this, and it's not something that I get like crazy emotional about anymore. And I wanted to wait until I wasn't like that to film this video so that I can just speak clearly and concisely and just get my story out there without a whole lot of emotion involved. So we met in middle school, but didn't really have a relationship or friendship at all. I think we'd spoken a few times and had a few classes together, but we went to the same small high school, and we ended up dating in October of freshman year. So we were both 15. Everything seemed pretty good, but
15. Dating at 15. That's my boyfriend at 15. At 15, this is my boyfriend, and we just gonna talk to each other. How many of you know, cousins, that's not what dating is? Dating is about data. First of all, at 15, you should just be talking to guys. getting to know people. You should not be committed to a 15-year-old. But that's what we do, right? That's what we do. We get committed at 15. This is why I'm trying to rewire our minds and our brains for those of us who are our parents and we have children and nieces and nephews, that we need to teach them how to rewire their minds and their brains.
I guess there was a few red flags that I just didn't notice because I was really young and I didn't really even know what a red flag was. But
Okay, red flags at 15. At 15, you're just giddy. So of course you don't know what a red flag is, because at 15, you should still, your father or any man in your life, father, older brother, uncle, should still be teaching you about men and what to look for and red flags. Right? And let's just be fair to this young man. At 15, he's supposed to have, this is the time in his life where he's figuring his life out. He shouldn't, at 15, he should not have everything figured out because he's a child. He's a child. He don't know who he is. He's figuring his life out. Do I like this? Do I like that? So at 15, yeah, he's going to have red flag because he's a child. He's maturing and growing into who he is supposed to become. He is becoming. So yeah, at 15, let's just be honest. He is going to have some red flags because he's 15. He's figuring his life out.
There started to become like little lies here and there, and I would just brush them off. And then I found out at the end of freshman year that he does struggle with pornography.
Okay, so at 15, you're figuring out that he lies here and there. Okay, so everybody should know, somebody who lies, that's not somebody you want to talk to. I don't even want a liar as my friend. Anybody I know who's a liar, you can't even be my friend. Because my grandmother told me, if you lie, you will steal. And if you steal, you will kill. So I don't deal with liars. So that's something we need to start teaching our kids, that if one of your friends is a liar, that's not a friend you want to keep around. You need to get rid of that friend, because that friend is a liar. Then she says let me rewind so I don't put words in her mouth.
Even know what a red flag was, but there started to become like little lies here and there, and I would just brush them off. And then I found out at the end of freshman year that he does struggle with pornography, and that made me feel really bad and very insecure. And
okay, so freshman year, end of freshman year, she found out he struggles with corn. Okay, let's be honest. At 15, boys are experimenting. They're getting used to their bodies. When I was in school, we learned that right around 12, they start having wet dreams and stuff. So 12, 13, 14, 15, he's figuring out, oh, this feels good. Oh, that looks good. Come on, church, let's be honest. This is why you don't get committed at 15. Because at 15 years old, boys are figuring things out. Their friends is looking at this and looking at that picture. But as parents, we are to start teaching them. We should already teach them about porn, that you should not be looking at naked women. And this can be addictive and stuff. But honestly, at 15, this is what 15-year-old boys are doing. And frankly, they should be free to become and figure out their lives and figure out what they're doing, what they want to do, what's right and what's wrong. Come on, comment below. Come on, comment below. So at 15, yeah, he's probably looking at corn. Yeah, at 15, he's jerking off. Come on, because he's 15.
I didn't have anybody to talk to about it, so I just
So now, because he's watching corn, she's feeling insecure about herself, her body. Might not enough.
There started to become like little lies here and there, and I would just brush them off. And then I found out at the end of freshman year that he does struggle with pornography, and that made me feel really bad and very insecure. And I didn't have anybody to talk to about it. So
it makes her you feel bad and insecure about you and your body because your 15-year-old boy is watching porn. Do y'all see what I mean? At 15, let's just be honest that at 15, little boys are experimenting and doing stuff they should not be doing, which is why we need to teach them early. But let's just be honest. So now at 15, he's watching porn, jerking off probably. I'm sure he's jerking off. And that makes you, 15-year-old, feel insecure about yourself and your body because your 15-year-old boy is looking at probably thinner girls that got bigger boobs and stuff like that. Do you see why y'all don't get in no committed relationship at 15 and having boyfriends? She should be out enjoying her friends, hanging out, talking to friends, hanging out. You sitting over here feeling insecure about yourself and your body because your 15-year-old boyfriend is watching porn. Are y'all seeing my point?
I just I don't know, just brushed it off. And then going into sophomore year, things were a little rocky, but they were okay. And then I think it was the middle of sophomore year that he started to pursue and kind of flirt with a girl in one of his classes. And I found out through a friend, and that made me feel even more insecure. And like I said, our school was
at 17. He is supposed to be what age was that? 16. At 16, 17, he is supposed to be flirting with girls. Come on, church. At 15, 16, 17, 18, that's what he's supposed to be doing. He's supposed to be blowing kisses to all the beautiful girls in school. He is supposed to be flirting with all the girls in school. He is supposed to be talking to them. Because that's what 16 and 17-year-old boys do. Hello, come on, comment below, cousins. Come on. So ladies, at 16, 17, we're mature. We're ready to get married. We're ready to have boyfriend, get a husband. We're ready to have babies. And at the same time, we are expecting our 16, 17-year-old boyfriends to be as mature as we are, and they are not. So we want them to stop flirting with girls, stop talking to this one, when in fact, that's what he's supposed to be doing at that age. Why? He is becoming. He is maturing. He is learning. He is figuring out his life. So at age 16, he should not be in a committed relationship with a girlfriend where I'm only talking to you, I'm only flirting with you, and I'm only blowing you kisses. No, at 16, 17, that is not what a 17-year-old boy is supposed to be saying. Comment below, cousins. Comment below. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, okay? Come on, church. Can we be honest? Because we want to say, oh, could he? No, that's what he is supposed to be doing. This is why I'm against boyfriends and girlfriends. All through high school, you with this one boy. All through college, you with. So you've only talked to two, but you're not dating. You're not talking to different men and figuring out what you like and what you want, because you think you want your boyfriend who's struggling with corn. Come on, church.
Really small, so I everybody kind of knew, or at least the people in that circle knew, and
that makes you feel bad when you should be talking to guys and going out and not worrying about what your 60, 70-year-old boyfriend is doing, because he's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
It's just awkward, and I felt really embarrassed. I think that was the same year that he started coming to church with me, and my family raised me Christian, and his family didn't. He didn't grow up in a religious household. So
okay, so why are you in a committed relationship with a boy that is not a Christian? These are things we are to teach our kids early on. If he is not a born again believer, and I press born again because my little boy goes to a school, and they remind me of this. I like this. Is she a Christian? And he said, "Mommy, it's a Christian school. Everybody is a Christian." I said, "No, they're not." So you ask, are they born again? So you're talking to a boy who's not even a believer. Your mother and parents didn't tell you not to talk to boys, be in committed relationship with boys that's not born again? Again, I'm not judging y'all. I'm just trying to point things out and pull things out for you to see, okay?
He, it was strange for him to like start to go to church, and I was excited for him, and that was kind of a cool journey, start to our journey. But in junior year is when he really started to want to pursue Christ on his own. In junior year is when we also started to talk about the idea of marriage at a younger age, at like 18, because he was going to be going to college, and I didn't want a long distance relationship, and I didn't want to.
No, you should not be talking about getting married. Where he work at? So he's going away to college, and you didn't want a long distance relationship, so then we need to get married. No. He should have gone on to college, and you should have gone on with your life and go do whatever you want to do and go college or whatever you want to do. But this is what we do, ladies. We put these men in a bind and we give them ultimatums. I don't want a long distance relationship, so then we're going to have to get married. But you're getting married and he has not become. You get married to a little boy who has not become, who's a liar, struggling with corn, and he ain't got no job to provide a comfortable life for you because he's going to college.
To live with someone unless I was married. So we like that idea.
Right. So it's an ultimatum. I'm not living with you unless we're married. So now he feels like we have to get married, even though you're not ready to get married. And even though you should not have married a man who you know is a liar and struggling with corn.
Got brought up, but I don't really remember it being like a definite, like, okay, like, yes, we're doing this then in like the timeline and everything. So when he proposed, I was surprised because it just was like, oh, like this is happening, So he proposed in winter break of senior year. So we were both 17. It was I felt really almost like this embarrassment because I knew everybody was like, oh my gosh, they're so young, like you're still like children, literally. So it felt a little bit like awkward in this weird way, but I mean, I was excited, but it did feel like a little strange. Right after we got engaged, he started to receive some death threats, which were really scary and kind of morbid. I was like, okay, so now people like somebody hates us for getting engaged or something.
I want you to remember the death threats, okay? Remember the death threats, ladies.
This is really scary. And so we tried to find out who it was. We never did find out who it was. The school got involved, police got involved. It was like kind of a whole thing. And it was disappointing to not like ever find out who it was. But nonetheless, we turned 18, we graduated, and then we got married in July of 2019. And then we lived at my parents' house for about 6 days before moving.
Get married at 18. Then you had to stay at your mama's house for a couple of days. Shouldn't be getting married. Should not be.
To Santa Cruz for him to go to UC Santa Cruz. So he got the full ride to UC Santa Cruz, which was a huge blessing. It felt pretty picture perfect for a while until I started having a lot of anxiety and stomach issues. We were doing a lot of dog sitting and a lot of working. He was working at a grocery store at the time, and our life was like just super busy and very hectic. One day I was sitting on the couch.
And he's working really hard because he has to take care of a wife. At 18, he shouldn't be worried about taking care of a wife. He got a full ride to scholarship to college. He should have go ahead, concentrate on his studying, maybe work to get you some pocket money, but not working so hard because you have to be able to take care of your wife. Not at 18. 18, you should be living your life. You should be becoming and figuring out your life. Not this burden and responsibility of providing for taking care of a wife because you got to take care of a wife while you're in college. I don't want to hear my great granddaddy did it in the comments, but I do want you to comment.
Couch. He just got home from his work, or it was like a late night school class, and he went to the bathroom to take a shower. And I just like got up from the couch and went to the bathroom. Like I just felt like I needed to go in there. And when I opened the door, I like caught him watching pornography. And I believe we were 3 months into our marriage. And
so 3 months into their marriage, he's 18. And what was he doing in the bathroom? Watching porn. Yeah, because that's probably what some 18-year-old boys do. Because why? They are becoming and figuring out their lives. And no, I am not saying it's okay, because I know some dumb is going to say, Janice, are you saying this is okay? No, I'm not saying it's okay. But the reality is that is what 18-year-old boys do. Some 18-year-old boys do. Okay, let's just be honest. That's the reality, that at 18 years old, they are watching porn, some, not all, and figuring out their lives. That's what I mean. I'm not saying it's okay. Of course, it's not okay. But the truth is, at 18 years old, they are watching porn. They're jerking off. Can we be honest? Come on, church.
he like tried to lie about it and cover it up, and it just like shocked me. I was like, oh my gosh. After that happened, I did call my mom and I told her like briefly what happened and that he'd been struggling with this for a while, and she was like the only person that knew. And I immediately Googled like support groups to try to find like other women that were young and married and had like found out their husband is still struggling with a pornography addiction, and there was really no resources out there. Like,
and let's just be honest, there's a lot of older women that are struggling with their husbands are addicted to porn. And this is why you do not marry men who are addicted to porn. You know what an addiction is? An addiction is like an alcoholic. They can't help themselves and they need to go get help. At 18, 15, 16, 17, 18, he's just trying to figure that out, figuring out that part of his life.
Not at all. And I felt very alone and very ashamed and like embarrassed. And it just was like such a horrible feeling. Like,
and you see how he's the one doing it, but the wife is feeling ashamed. And she has no reason to feel ashamed. But what Korn tells a wife is, I'm not enough. My body is not enough. My boobs is not enough. I'm not good enough. So you need to go look at other women and jerk off.
And then I remember that people would tell me like, oh, you guys are still in the honeymoon phase. Like, wow, it's only been 3-4 months, whatever. And I was like, yeah, you have no idea though. Like, I'm not happy. Like, we're not in the honeymoon phase. This feels very bad. I feel sad. And that's just not how I ever want to feel
honeymoon
in a marriage. By the way, this is like a snapshot of what happened. This is
honeymoon phase should be good. It should be like your wedding day. My dad says, never do not let your honeymoon end. Your marriage should be a honeymoon every day. Yes, sure, people have disagreements and arguments and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you need to get back to that place. And so him watching Korn in the shower is not honeymoon phase. Okay?
Definitely not like the entire story, because I would be here for like 2 hours or 3 hours or something. So just know that I'm leaving out a lot of like small little details, and all the times that I caught him, I'm only just highlighting the major events. He later told me, I think it was a few months later, that he just came right out and told me that he had actually been skipping classes and was struggling with watching like pornography at school instead of going to class, and that he was like failing with class.
So he's skipping classes to watch Korn. That's an addiction.
His classes. So he tried to get back on track.
That's an addiction, right? It's an addiction because now it's affecting your life. It's affecting his marriage, but now it's affecting his livelihood, his ability to go to school, come out of school, and be able to be productive. Huh? Can you imagine, instead of going to school, instead of going to classes, you're skipping class so you can watch Korn. Ladies, how many of you know that is not a man you should marry? And this is why you do not get married young, because the men have not become, and they're figuring out their lives, and they are becoming. You're going to meet all types of men, but you don't have to marry one that has problems. But you will marry one that has problems when you meet a man and you just make a commitment to this stranger you don't know and know about him.
And ended up dropping out of school, which just was like a huge like
drop out of school with a full scholarship. Like, can you imagine?
He moved there to Santa Cruz, one of the most expensive places to live, because of his school, and now he's not even going to school. So it's like, why are we even here? You know. So the biggest like thing here that I just want to like really hit home is like he was lying about getting the homework done. He was lying about like how much work he really had to do. He was lying about how he was doing the classes and lying about going to class, and it's just it's like. Yes, I'm sure he was struggling with things like mentally behind the scenes, and that's really unfortunate. I wish he would have like talked to me about that or talked to somebody about that. But it's all the lying that he did that really adds up and just makes you like, I can't trust you, you know? So he started just going to work all the time. And
this is what happened. He's becoming. So when this man is becoming a man, and you're finding out that you cannot trust this man who's supposed to be your husband, who's supposed to protect you, provide for you, and all of these good things. And trusting your husband is a part of getting married. That was my biggie when I got married. I had to be able to trust him. I had to be able to trust you with me. I had to be able to trust you with Lexi. I want to be able to trust you with professing your love, providing for me, and protecting me. I do not have to worry about nothing. I don't have to worry about my husband's love. I don't want to have to worry about his protection and his provision. And this is why you must give men time to become, ladies. Because at 18, he has not become, he's becoming.
Came home from work one day and just told me that he got fired. It was he randomly got fired and it was wrongful and everything. So
wow.
He was just trying to find another job, and we told all of our family that he was wrongfully fired and all this stuff. And so it was really shocking, and that was our main income. And so I felt like, what are we going to do? You know, he got a job at a hotel as a front desk agent. And in May of 2020, told me that he just came home and straight out told me that he was struggling with pornography still, and that he had been watching pornography several times at work in a shift, and that it's been a really big issue for him. And
at work. She says, each time this would happen, I felt badly for him and believed him when he said he would change. This became a constant powder which fed into the emotional abuse. No, he's not going to change. That is who he is. That is who he's becoming. Don't marry men on the basis that they are going to change. They are not going to change. That is who they are. That is who they are. They're not going to change. You at work, you're watching porn. At work, you're supposed to be working. You sneaking off in the corner to go watch some porn. It's an addiction. And the emotional abuse is you believe your husband because this is your husband, you love him, and you believe him. You want to believe him, but you should not believe him. Because that's who he is. He's becoming. That's who he is. You're dropping out of school because you so watching porn. You can't work because you're sneaking off to go watch porn. No.
I was so stressed out at that point and so hurt. So it was shocking. And he ended up coming out and telling me that he also lied about being fired from his other job. He actually was stealing from a store next door to that one. And
so he's a thief. He's a liar. He watched corn, and he's addicted to corn. He's addicted to corn, and he's a thief. Hello, this is not a good man for a husband. That's why, ladies, this is why you allow these men to become. I gotta write a book. This is why you allow these men to become. At 18, he's still developing and becoming. Ladies, don't marry him.
And that's why he got fired. And I was just like, cool, like my husband's a criminal, like, or, you know, I'm like, what else, you know? So now he's stealing. And then he told me like he's been struggling with stealing forever. And that he, like, this is something that he struggles with. And I didn't even know getting married to him. And it just,
Jesus.
You feel like you know someone, right? I was with him for years and I had no idea that he struggled with stealing. So my mom came over to the apartment to kind of like just be with me. And she just wanted to come to visit, but ended up being that she was kind of there to help support me, like as I was, you know, really struggling with this. We talked about the death threat situation that happened in high school. I ended up putting all the puzzle pieces together in this crazy like flashback, which I definitely feel like was the Holy Spirit like helping me to put together pieces. And basically, I realized that he was the one that did the death threats in high school, and I confronted him about it, and he did admit to doing all of that and said that it was for attention. And I don't know, it just.
So remember the death threats they got? It was him. It was him. And he was doing it for what? Attention. Where's his family in all of this? He was doing it for what? Attention. There you go. 23 types of guys you might meet.
Just is so weird because when you're with somebody who is so quiet and like seems like he doesn't want the spotlight on him, it feels so strange that he would have done something like that. You know, it doesn't make sense to me at all. I felt super alone. I felt like I don't know what to do. We just got married. We can't be getting divorced already, you know? And so I reached out to like a Christian hotline.
Yes, you can get a divorce. Yes, you can. You can get a divorce. What you mean? What? Get a divorce. Divorce him.
And this girl like gave me a few resources, and I ended up buying a book called I Don't Want a Divorce. And like we never finished the book. It was supposed to be like
I Don't Want a Divorce. Who wrote that book? I'm going to write a book. Divorce is an option. Okay? I don't want to divorce. Divorce is an option. Divorce is always an option. Because if you decide that you want to change your mind about your vows, I'm not going to sit and take it. I will go see the judge and get a divorce.
Kind of like therapy, but we never ended up finishing it, which is just very telling. I guess I say that because I just like, you try to like do anything, you know, and you're just like, what else do I have to do to make this go away and fix this? And I ended up getting shingles on my right side.
You cannot fix it, dear. You cannot fix him. You're not the problem. You can only fix you. You can only help you. You're not the problem. The problem is him. And until he sits down and decide to go get some help, you cannot fix him. And I see a lot of women, a lot of wives trying to fix their husbands. You cannot fix a grown person because you do not have rights over that person in the spirit. The only person you have rights over and you can try to fix is your child when they're children. But once they're adults, there's nothing you can do. And I see a lot of wives trying to fix their husbands. You cannot fix grown men. And that is not your job, and that is not your responsibility. And wives, we should not take it on our heads that we're trying to fix our husbands. They are who they are. And this is why, ladies, you must choose wisely. You must choose your husband wisely. Because you can't fix them. That's not your job.
At my face, which if you don't know, shingles are something that only people that are in their like, I don't know, 50s get. Like, you're an older person getting this, and I got it when I was like, I think I was 18 or 19, and it was actually really close to my eye, so they were worried that I would go blind because of the shingles.
Jesus.
So I ended up taking some really intense medication, but I thought it was work stress, but it makes sense that I got that because there was all this other stress that was happening, and you get it because of stress. And so it's just, I say that because your body really has an outward, like, stress has a very outward effect on your health. So he ended up getting a moving job, and that was a really good job for him. And he ended up making a best friend, and they were like support to each other, and it was great. I think it was just a few days into the job that I woke up one night and I had a dream that he was like watching pornography or like looking at another girl or something like that. And I checked his phone and found out that he was, and he had been. And I was crying, and he had to call into work, and it just wasn't a good look because it was like a new job, and he had to say like, oh, I have to take care of my wife because she's sick. And it was just.
So she says, from outside point of view, it looked like he was the hero staying home to take care of me, when in reality, the anxiety was due to his actions. Exactly.
Horrible. And I went back to sleep, and then I woke up that same night, and I was covered on my thighs in hives, which hives are from stress. You break out in hives when you're in extreme stress. So I broke out in hives, and I had to take care of that like 3 a.m. And it just like, it's so sad that like my body was like screaming at me, like, you cannot continue to be this stressed out, you know, like this is too much. And was having these outward, like, basically like tantrums, you know. As far as I know, the moving job was good in terms of like he wasn't struggling as much with his addiction. We ended up getting a cat, which kind of felt like a little new like start for us, you know, and like having a family. So we had a rescue cat, and then we decided shortly after to move to Ohio, which is where I am now. We drove 6 days here with the senior cat in our car. For many months he was good, hadn't had any lying issues or stealing issues as far as I knew, and he didn't have a job for a really long time, but he
very long months you think he was good, and he's not working, so he has all this free time to play with the phone.
Ended up getting a job as a school photographer. For those of you who don't know, I've never had a partner that's suffering with an addiction. Everything.
Did she say a school photographer? Is that what she said? Let me rewind, because he should not be around kids taking pictures, child. He got problems with pictures.
A job for a really long time, but he ended up getting a job as a school photographer. For those of you who don't know,
school photographer, Lord Jesus, no. But moving along.
Never had a partner that's suffering with an addiction. Everything that they do in their life needs to be kind of planned around the addiction. So like getting a new job, or if you're going to be leaving them alone in the house, or if you're going on a trip, like everything
they do is planned around the addiction. Ladies, is this how you want to live? That's like everything I do is planned around my kids' schedule. My kids' schedule is based on my schedule. So I don't, especially little Michael, I don't set little Michael's schedule around my husband's schedule because my husband works from home. Sometimes he's home. Sometimes he got to get up, go into the office. Some mornings he got to leave here at 4 o'clock in the morning. If he's flying out, he has to leave his car, come pick him up at 4 o'clock. If he has a 6 o'clock flight, or he might have to go into the city or something like that. So my kids' schedule is scheduled around my schedule, or my schedule is scheduled around theirs. So now you have to plan your life around porn. No, ma'am.
Impacts the addiction. Like you have to plan around it. You know, we had to like strategically plan what kind of job is he going to have that, you know, would hopefully not make the addiction any worse. I can recall that he told me a few times that he got like random gifts sent to him from his family members. And I thought that it was really nice of them because they were pretty pricey gifts. I found out later that the gifts were not from his family, but were actually from him buying them with our money without talking to me about the purchase, which is just really frustrating because I've never given him a reason to think that I'd be upset at him for like wanting to buy something that he needed or wanted. Like I remember one time it was like snow boots and I wanted him to have snow boots. You know, I was like I remember going to Walmart with him and trying to pick some out for him. And it bothers me that like he was like almost running away from me when I'd never given him a reason to want to run away from me. When he told me about every time he told me about the pornography thing, I would cry and I was sad, but I wasn't like, I hate you and you're horrible and I can't believe you did this. I was like, okay, let's figure this out. Let's like talk to somebody about it. Let's, you know, like I appreciate you telling me. Like I never berated him for it. So it's frustrating that he would just run away from me and not like tell me, when I always try to foster an atmosphere of love and patience and kindness, and I was never mad at him for telling me ever. He was never in trouble for telling me. I just accepted it and was like, let's move forward. And I appreciate you telling me, you know. So, you know, so basically he's using our money to buy gifts, which feels like stealing to me. And so with that and with lying and the porn, it's just like, why couldn't he just like realize that I never got mad at him, not once, for any of the things. I just felt sad. He got that job and then he ended up leaving it a few months later to find a new job, just with better pay, better hours, or whatever. He ended up getting a job at a dealership as a car photographer, which we felt like was a huge blessing because it's something that was like more like something he was passionate about and like interested in. I can recall that little lies started popping up like in between him working the first job that he worked here and then the second job. Those made me feel very unsure. Like maybe he's going to tell me that he's like struggling with things. Maybe I'm gonna find something. I remember one time I was just like, I was hanging up my towel and I just like paused and thought to myself, I was like, it's been months. It's been so long. I don't even remember the last time that he told me something had happened.
Jesus. And can you imagine that's your marriage? Like he's a child. You know what I mean? Like he's a child. Can you imagine trying to maintain your life and a grown behind man's life like this, as if he's your son?
Drops the ball again and tells me like, hey, I've been struggling for this many months and you didn't know. And, you know, like, and I was just thinking to myself, like, that would be catastrophic. That would be horrible. Like, but no, he's probably good. He's probably really healed from this. Like, it's been so long. I trust him. I believe that he's going to change.
He's going to change.
And that brings us up to a little more of current times. After he got the car deal,
he's going to change, right? He's Mr. Potential. You keep thinking he's going to change. He's going to change. He's going to change. So you're psyching yourself into thinking he's going to change and being delusional that he's going to change, and he's not going to change, ladies. Stop waiting and expecting these men to change. They are who they are. They are. I know women been married to their husbands 20 years waiting for him to change. He's not going to change. He's not changing.
Dealership job, I started to feel really alone in my marriage, and it kind of came out of nowhere. He had a birthday, which I tried to make very special and very like, I just tried to make it really special because he had to work that day. So I took him out to dinner and everything. And I remember it was the next day I wrote in my journal, it was on May 3rd. I have it written down right here exactly what I said. I said, I feel I don't know who my ex-husband's name is. I feel like I'm strangers with him. I've been feeling awkward and not myself.
Jesus.
So again, this is before I knew of anything happening again. Like it was months and months and months of him being good. And like, it makes me really sad that I wrote that in my journal, because when you're married, you should always feel safe and always feel loved and not alone. And
okay, good.
That's why you get into a partnership with someone.
You should feel safe and not alone. Let me rewind what she said. What she said is very vital. I'm trying to get to a part in the video, and then I'm going to end it.
And not myself. So again, this is before I knew of anything happening again. Like it was months and months and months of him being good. And like, it makes me really sad that I wrote that in my journal, because when you're married, you should always feel safe and always feel loved and not alone. And
okay, so when you're married, you should feel safe and loved and not alone. But did you choose a husband? Now that I'm looking at this cover, I think I want her to change the font. I gotta email her. Did you choose a husband that will make you feel loved, make you feel safe, make you feel secure, and make you feel not alone? Huh? The question is, when you're married, you should feel loved and secure and safe. But did you choose a husband that will make you feel loved, safe, and secure, ladies? That's the question. And because you did not choose a husband that will make you feel loved, secure, safe, and protected, you are the naked wife. Which is why you should not choose a husband who will not make you feel loved, secure, and safe. Don't do it.
That's why you get into a partnership with someone. And so for me to be like, I feel so sad and so alone and awkward, just the feeling of awkwardness around him. Like, I'll never forget that. And I never want to feel that ever again in any relationship. A few days had passed, and I remember I was working later one night filming content for a brand, and he helped me film that night. And he went into our bedroom and started talking to his mom about some things that she was going through. He came out in the living room and we talked about what they had talked about, and then had his hand on his head like this. And he said, "Will you love me unconditionally?"
Bam. Stop right there. What I told y'all about loving unconditionally. Huh? I do not love Big Mike unconditionally. And loving people unconditionally, it's a lie we tell ourselves. Because unconditionally means no matter what they do, will you still love them? And it's a no for me. If my husband cheats on me, I will not love him anymore. So these lies y'all tell yourselves about loving your husband and your wife unconditionally, think about it. If they cheat on you with your best friend, their best friend, would you? No, there's no such thing as loving your husband and wife unconditionally. If we did, there would be no divorce. The only people I love in this world unconditionally are my two children, Alexia and Michael. That no matter what happens, I will love my babies. We see mamas, let me tell you, we see mamas in jail. Her son could have unalived 100 people. And she said, "I love you, baby. I love you, my baby. I love you." Yeah, I love my kids. And there's nothing these kids can do that will make me stop loving them. But is there something Big Mike can do to make me stop loving him? Yeah. I don't love him unconditionally. No, I don't. So this delusionality y'all have about love me unconditionally is a lie. There's no such thing.
And I said, of course I will. And he goes, "Okay, because I've been lying to you."
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, what? Like, here we go. You know, it had been months of him being so good, almost like a whole year. And he's like, "I'm lying to you." And I was like, "Okay, what happened?" And he said, "I've been struggling with watching pornography all the way since I got my job as a school photographer. Like, I've been struggling with watching porn at like all my jobs. So that job, the new job, he had been at that new job for I think a month or two. So I just was I was like surprised, but also not. I guess I just felt like really let down, and like I let my guard down as well. I remember sitting there on the couch, hyperventilating, and then I just like fell to the side and passed out.
Oh my God.
And like it was like my body was like, "You have nothing left to give. Like you have nothing left to. There's no like." We're done. We're checking out, you know, and that just is such a sad picture to me. And he like rushed by my side and he tried to help me like come to. He told me that night as well that he'd been flirting with a coworker. This is where everything really starts to come down. You know, he said, "Okay, well, I'm not gonna be like doing that anymore. Like we're not talking. Like I will separate myself from her, whatever." I truly believed him. And then it was a few days later on May 8th. And during that time, like in between that night and then May 8th, I like really like threw myself at him. I began to like, you know, he was telling me like, "I feel unattracted to you," and I feel.
So now he's flirting with a coworker at 18. That's what you do. Can we be honest? At 18, this is why you should not be married at 18. So now
unsatisfied in our marriage, and so I started like throwing myself at him, which I'm sure.
Okay, I'm gonna end it there so you could go watch the rest of her video. I'll link her video below. Thank you for sharing your story, Lauren. Thank you for the cousin who sent this to me, and she was like, "Janice, oh my God, this is a perfect example of what you always say of not getting married too young." Yes, you should not, because the men are becoming They're little boys. They don't know who they are. They're figuring out their lives. They're figuring out their things. They have stuff they're dealing with. They need to go to college, get established. They need to become. They need to get it. It's just too much to be getting married at too much of a young age. So I hope you enjoy Lauren's story. I hope you go over there and watch the rest of her story. I'll link it below. Comment below. Tell me what you think. And if you have a story you want me to review, you could email me or Facebook me on Facebook. I love you. Thank for those of you checking out my books on Amazon. 23 Types of Guys You Might Meet. Meeting him does not mean you have to marry him. My #1 bestseller. And of course, my #2 bestseller is The Naked Wife. I absolutely love you. I adore you. In Christ I Am. If you're a woman struggling with corn, In Christ I Am is an excellent book for you to read, but also get help. Okay. It is against God's with that sexual immorality. So we need to get some help and put it on the altar and talk to God about it. I absolutely love you, my darlings. Comment below, share this out for me. And if you know somebody that need this video, send it to them. Thank you. Love you. Talk to you later. Bye.